Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday service. Gosh, for the 18th of May already in 2025. Today, my talk is about the feminine face of God. And what I'm doing is I'm using the 12 powers that Charles Fillmore talked about. And Charles introduced the concept of humanity having 12 powers within each and every one of us that's here to assist us in our daily lives. And his book, The 12 Powers of Man, was actually published in 1930. And yet, even today, here we are, almost 100 years later. Here we are, wow, 95 years later. These powers are still considered to be some of the most innate spiritual faculties that every person possesses, and that we can actually develop for our own personal transformation and spiritual growth. Now, the 12 powers that he describes are faith, strength, wisdom, or good judgment, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, elimination, or renunciation, as he calls it, and life. Now, Charles believed that by actually consciously developing and expressing these powers, each and every individual could express the Christ within each one of us and attain what he calls spiritual mastery. And while all the powers are essential for spiritual development and wholeness, six of them are considered more feminine qualities due to their, as he calls, receptive, intuitive, nurturing, harmonizing nature. So, according to Fillmore's teachings, the six more feminine and aspects are faith, which is the first center or that he speaks about. And now faith is located at the center of the brain. It's in the pineal gland. And if you were to take a line and go straight back from the center of your forehead all the way back, and then from the sides where there's a little indentation on the sides and go straight that way, where these two lines connect is where the pineal gland is and where he calls it the center of the brain. Now, the disciple that Charles Fillmore puts onto the aspect of faith is the disciple Peter. And, even though faith is often seen as a more masculine aspect in nature, it also has a feminine receptivity. It's the power of the mind to perceive the reality of the invisible world that's around us and trust it in the manifestation. So it's really the intuitive trust in the divine, which is often associated with spiritual sensitivity and its openness to the unseen. So, in a sense, the power of faith is actually to believe in the unseen and to trust the divine in everything that goes on in our lives. It's the ability to believe that there is something greater than what we see around us. And it's the ability to perceive that through meditations and trusting in that as we go through our day. So, in a sense, when uncertain, it's about choosing to trust that a higher order is at work, even when you don't see the whole full path. And the second center, the second faculty, the second power is love. And its location is actually behind the physical heart, and it's called the love center. And the disciple that Fillmore located to this is the disciple John. Now, love is the harmonizing power that goes on in all life. But Fillmore also called it a magnetizing power because it binds all things together in divine love and holds the universe in a state of unity. Now, Charles sees love as central to spiritual growth. It draws all our good into our life and it connects us to everyone else. It's not really an emotional energy, but it's a divine creative force. So, love is actually the harmonizing and attracting power of divine love. And with all of that, it's the ability to, within us, to attract whatever it is that we desire and to unify all things that are out of balance. So, the third aspect or the third power is imagination. And now this is actually located right between the eyes. And this is where Fillmore says it's your third eye right between our actual physical eyes. Now, when we think about imagination, what comes to mind is all the people that write books, that create art, that are out in your garden deciding how to put things. It's also when you're moving into a new house, it's that imagination power within us to see things as they could be. And what Fillmore says, imagination is the formative power, and it's the faculty that shapes substance. So it's feminine in that it receives divine ideas and it gives them form into this material world. Now, Fillmore says it's the bridge between the ideal and the manifest, and it works deeply with intuition and our vision. So, imagination is the quality, the faculty, the power to visualize possibilities, to envision something, to conceptualize it, to dream, actually. So, to visualize a positive outcome in a challenge that you're facing, to see things internally differently than how they're perceived out and about. Now, the fourth faculty or power is wisdom, good judgment. And this is located at the pit of the stomach in our solar plexus. And the disciple is James, of Alphaeus. And while judgment might seem masculine, Fillmore treats spiritual wisdom as a divine intuition rather than an analytical reasoning. It's the ability to evaluate, discern, and make decisions based on spiritual understanding, not intellect. And so it's that inner knowing or gut feeling that you might get. So when you're out and about doing something and you get this feeling inside of you that something's right, something's wrong, should do this, should do that, shouldn't go here, shouldn't do that, although we don't do shoulds and all. But it's that gut feeling that guides us. And that's the feminine intuitive action of this power of wisdom or good judgment. And Fillmore just states that it's the ability to really discern what's right or true. It's the ability to evaluate and then to apply what it is that you know. Now, the fifth power, that is what Fillmore calls is more feminine, is the power of understanding. And location for that is actually the front part of the brain, this upper part of your forehead. Now, the disciple is Thomas, and the metaphysical significance of this is that understanding is very closely tied to divine insight. It's actually the partner to wisdom, but where wisdom discerns something, understanding comprehends the spiritual truth of it. It allows us to grasp something so deeper and a deeper meaning to things that are around us and decisions we're making. And it allows us to make inner connections with divine source. So it's in in the fact that it also has this intuitive aspect that is what makes it aligned with feminine energy. So it's really the power to know and comprehend truth. It's that ability to perceive something, to know something at a deeper level, and to comprehend a much higher spiritual truth about something. And of course, our final and sixth aspect, that is more feminine, is the power of zeal or enthusiasm. And it's located right at the back of the head, right at the base of the skull. And the disciple is Simon the Zealot. So zeal is actually the power that moves us to action. And while action seems more masculine, it's passionate, intuitive, and it's heart driven, which makes it a feminine flow. So zeal actually energizes and animates our soul, and it draws up from this deep feeling and desire to have something happen. Now, I know that every one of us have, at some point in our lives, have had this real passion for something. Well, that's the zeal. And that's that passion that drives us forward to create something, to change things, to, move forward in our lives. And Fillmore calls it an inner fire to act. So it's really the ability to be enthusiastic about something, to be passionate, to get things started, and to keep with us to move us forward. So faith is about trusting, it's our intuitive aspect, it's also receptive to knowledge and understanding coming from the higher self. Love is our harmonizing, unifying, nurturing nature that we have. And of course, imagination is our visionary, it's formative, it's creative, it works within us to form things from the unformed. Wisdom is our inner knowing, it's discernment from intuition, and understanding is deep spiritual insight. It's connected to comprehension at a spiritual level, understanding things at a deep spiritual level. And zeal is that passion, that emotional drive that moves us forward to create those things that we want to create in life. Now, Fillmore emphasized that all the 12 powers must be developed in balance. So it's really not about male versus female, masculine versus feminine. It's about the integration of receptive feminine aspects with the active masculine forces within us. So the feminine powers are vital for information, transformation, spiritual maturity, and often operate through intuition, spirituality, spiritual sensitivity, feeling. So, what I'd like to do is just to take some of the meditative aspects, some of the statements, the affirmations that Fillmore has for each of these. So I'd like to do just a short meditation. And so I invite you to sit back, relax, close your eyes, and take a very deep breath. And I'm just going to make these affirmations, state them 3 times for you. So taking a deep breath in and then letting it out and going to that place through the power of faith. I have faith in God, in myself, and in the right outcome. I have faith in God, in myself, and in the right outcome. I have faith in God, in myself, and in the right outcome. The power of love. Divine love flows through me and blesses all I meet. Divine love flows through me and blesses all I meet. Divine love flows through me and blesses all I meet. Imagination. I imagine good unfolding in every situation. I use my imagination to only see good unfolding every situation. I use my imagination to only see good unfolding in every situation. For wisdom, good judgment, I ask myself under all situations, what is the wise and loving choice here? For all decisions I make, I ask myself, what is the wise and loving choice here? For any situation coming into my presence, I remember to ask myself, what is the wise and loving choice? And for understanding, I am guided by spiritual understanding. I am guided by spiritual understanding. I am guided by spiritual understanding. And for zeal, I am alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic about life. When I wake up in the morning, I hold in my thoughts, I am alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. often during the day, I remind myself that I am alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic about life. And when you're ready, just take a beautiful deep breath in and out. Allow yourself to come back into this moment of time. Life is such a blessing to each and every one of us, or it can be when we allow all that life is to come into us and assist us in becoming more spiritual, becoming more understanding, more loving, and to have the faith each and every moment of every day to move forward in our lives to a greater and greater understanding, love, compassion, caring for all of life. Have a beautiful day and enjoy the life that you have, knowing that you have all this power, all these different powers, all these different faculties, as Fillmore says, inside of you to create a beautiful, wonderful, loving life. God bless you.